I still can't believe this happened last weekend. I keep replaying it in my head like maybe I imagined it, but the receipt for $298 and the fact that I still can't look at my credit card statement without wincing remind me it was very, very real. For context, I'd been with Ethan for almost 3 years. Not just casually dating. We'd done holidays with both families, had our weekly grocery shopping ritual, even adopted a cat together. Okay, I did most of the work, but still. Things weren't perfect, but I really thought we were a team. So when he invited me to dinner with 2 of his work friends last Friday, I was excited. He rarely included me in work events, said it was complicated and better to keep things separate. I put on a new outfit, did my makeup properly for the first time in weeks, and even took a cab downtown so I wouldn't be late. The vibe was off the second I got there. Ethan barely looked up from his drink, muttered, "You're late." I was literally 3 minutes behind schedule because of traffic, then made a face at my dress and said, "That's what you chose?" Loud enough for both his friends to hear. I laughed it off, but that was just the start. For the next hour, Ethan dominated the conversation. Whenever I tried to chime in, he either talked over me or dismissed whatever I said with, "She doesn't really get how the industry works." At one point, I mentioned a project at my own job. I work in event planning, which I love, and he literally said, "That's cute. But in the real corporate world," I sat there smiling politely while my insides curled up. Then came the real gut punch. His friend asked how we met. I started to tell the story, how my college roommate introduced us, when Ethan cut me off with, "Honestly, I only agreed to date her because my roommate wouldn't stop pestering me. Total pity date situation at first." They all laughed. I excused myself to the bathroom before I started crying. When I came back, the food was just arriving. I barely touched my plate. The comments kept coming. "You're really going to eat all that pasta?" Then the check came. Without even looking at me, Ethan slid it across the table and said, "Actually, I don't think this is working. You should be grateful I even gave this a shot. A girl like you? You're lucky I stayed as long as I did." He stood up. His friends followed. And just like that, they left. I was sitting there alone with a $298 bill and a head full of questions. The next morning, my phone had 11 missed calls from Ethan and 3 texts that just said, "We need to talk." I ignored them and called my best friend, Lila, who immediately came over with donuts and iced coffee. As I told her everything, she got angrier by the second. Then she said something that made my jaw drop. "You know Ethan's big promotion he keeps bragging about? He's not a manager. My coworker's cousin works at his company. He's basically an assistant. Half the stories he tells about work are completely made up." Somehow, that made me feel better. If he'd been lying to make himself look bigger, maybe all those digs at me were just projections. That night, Ethan's mom texted me about his upcoming birthday dinner. She said she couldn't wait to see me. Ethan hadn't told them we broke up, so I decided to go. I showed up looking calm, collected, and way better than I felt. Ethan's face when he opened the door was priceless, a mix of shock and panic. His family welcomed me like nothing was wrong, sat me right next to him at the table. Halfway through dinner, his sister asked about the big project Ethan had mentioned at work. Before he could answer, I said sweetly, "Oh, you mean the one where Ethan mostly just made PowerPoints while his boss did all the talking?" The room went quiet. His dad frowned. Ethan glared at me. Then the doorbell rang. It was Lila's coworker's cousin, the one who actually works with Ethan, dropping off a file Ethan needed for Monday. "Yes, we planned this." When Ethan's dad asked about Ethan's promotion, this guy gently said, He's still an assistant. There's no promotion yet." Boom. Silence. Ethan tried to spin it, but his sister started firing off questions he couldn't answer. Why had he told them he had a corner office? Why had he said he was leading a team? Why did his LinkedIn say, "Senior Account Executive"? And then his dad turned to me and asked, "So what happened between you two?" I told them. Everything. The restaurant. The humiliation. The bill. Ethan lost it, yelling that I was making him look bad, that I was blowing things out of proportion, that a girl like her should be grateful anyone wanted her. That was it. His grandma put her fork down and said, "Ethan, enough." He stormed out of his own birthday dinner. I stayed, ate cake with his family, and even helped his mom wash dishes while she apologized over and over. His sister drove me home and said, "Honestly, we've been waiting for someone to call him out. Thank you." The next morning, Ethan's spam called me again. I didn't answer. Instead, I blocked his number, Venmo requested him for half the dinner bill, and went out with Lila for margaritas. And for the first time in 3 years, I actually felt free.